Come on and cry me a river, cry me a river. I cried a river over you.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this Wednesday, 1st of April 2026. Let's go! What we have today is an article about mind control assassins inside the CIA's chilling mind control program that turned ordinary Americans into assassins. Let's see if we can find some new details about this almost unbelievable operation, let's say. Let's start with the Daily Mail, the crime desk. So, CIA, how's the music? Too loud? Maybe it's a little bit loud for a Wednesday morning. Let's go. The CIA was rumored to have experimented with mind control methods during the Cold War in an attempt to turn citizens into cold-blooded assassins. Now, a psychiatrist who reviewed more than 1,500 declassified government records has claimed those chilling whispers were not fiction, but part of a coordinated effort to fracture human minds and control behavior. Fracture human minds. That sounds like key. Speaking on the Alchemy American podcast, Dr. Colin Rose described Cold War-era intelligence programs that tested whether individuals could be psychological split into hidden personalities capable of carrying out secret missions, including murder. You have documented projects called MK Ultra and other variations of mind control that focused on creating splits and multiple personalities, couriers, spies, and Manchurian candidates capable of assassinating world leaders, said Ross. Wow. Who specializes in trauma-related disorders and has spent decades studying dissociation and memory. Dissociation is the key phenomena in hypnosis to achieve very interesting results, very amazing results in anesthesia. Coming out soon, my new video about how can you self-hypnotize and achieve some kind of analgesia or anesthesia in parts of your body. Maybe today or tomorrow the video is gonna be out. A very simple train process to learn how to achieve this by yourself, alone, not with a therapist. So that's cool. More secure. They used whoever they could get their hands on, hypnotizing them using brain electrode implants and electric shock all in an effort to create the super spy. The concept known as the Manchurian Candidate refers to an individual trained to carry out violent acts without conscious awareness, activated by specific commands or triggers. Ross said the ultimate goal was to create operatives who could perform acts of violence or espionage and later have no memory of what they had done, a tactic long feared during Cold War. Amnesia is another hypnotic phenomena. So we have dissociation, amnesia, and what other involved in this kind of mind control. He cited Lee Harvey Oswald and Charles Manson as notorious examples of figures he believes might have crossed paths with intelligence-linked mind control networks. Many of the programs Ross discussed, including MKUltra, are historically documented, having been exposed during congressional investigations in the 1970s. However, several of the connections he raises involving high-profile figures remain disputed among historians and intelligence researchers. Ross said his conclusions are based on thousands of pages of declassified CIA and military documents he obtained through Freedom of Information Act requests and archival research during the 1990s. Additional revelations came from congressional hearings in the mid-1970s when officials disclosed the scale of chemical testing conducted on human subjects as part of behavioral research programs. According to testimony cited by Ross, the US Army admitted to testing roughly 120 different drugs in mind control experiments and exposing at least 1,500 people to LSD, with some accounts suggesting the total may have reached 4,000. Those admissions came during investigations by the Senate's Church Committee, which uncovered widespread abuse within U.S. intelligence agencies and forced public acknowledgement of previously secret experiments. Ross said the CIA efforts spanned multiple classified programs beginning in the early 1950s. At the height of Cold War fears that rival nations were developing psychological warfare techniques capable of controlling human behavior. Yeah, the Chinese and the Russians. MKUltra, led by chemist Sidney Gottlieb, was a top-secret CIA program from 1953 to 1973 designed to develop methods for behavioral modification, mind control, and interrogation, largely using unsuspecting subjects. It involved unethical experimentation, including administering drugs like LSD, sensory deprivation, and hypnosis. Some subjects were reportedly unaware they were being tested on, raising ethical concerns that later triggered lawsuits and congressional outrage. The program was exposed in 1975, prompting investigation into CIA abuses of power. Before MKUltra, however, the CIA was running Bluebird, which would later be named Project Artichoke. which set the stage for its mind control mission. The earliest documentation of Bluebird dates to April 1950. Early activities included testing on human subjects, including a team traveling to Japan in July 1950 to test methods on suspected double agents. Last night, I was watching a video about Deepak Chopra. They tested with LSD in India Deepak Chopra when he was 17 years old and then became the famous dude he used to be. So that was new to me. Deepak Chopra was a gate experiment in India, a gateway experiment in India. Amazing. So, where were we? The earliest documentation of Bluebird dates to April 1950. Earlier activities included testing on human subjects, including a team traveling to Japan in 1950 to test methods on suspected double agents. A declassified document from 1954 detailed turning a foreign official into an assassin without their knowledge. What? A declassified document from 1954 detailed turning a foreign official into an assassin without their knowledge. Wow. While the memo notes the target as a high-ranking politician in the unknown country, it also added that this technique could also be used against American officials if necessary. Ross said that the document is among the clearest written examples suggesting intelligence agencies seriously explored the possibility of creating unwitting assassins. He told podcast host J.C. Michels that the CIA used hypnotism, electric shock, drugs, sensory deprivation, and isolation during experiments. Basically, they threw everything at the wall to see what would stick, he said. Ross said some of the most controversial material he reviewed involved figures tied to major moments in American history, particularly the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. According to Ross, Lee Harvey Oswald's background contains several details that he believes raise unanswered questions about whether the accused gunman had contact with intelligence-linked figures before the shooting. I think it's very well established that is the case. Among those concerns was Oswald's defection to the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Or maybe he's a Manchurian from the Soviet Union, we don't know. A move that typically results in harsh consequences for American citizens. Instead, Rose noted Oswald was later allowed to return to the US. That unusual sequence of events has fueled decades of speculation. So, Marine guy defects to Russia and then we just let him back in? Nothing to see here, Ross said, describing what he views as one of the most puzzling elements of Oswald's history. Ross also pointed to claims that Oswald may have been impersonated overseas before Kennedy's assassination. What? Something his mother reportedly warned officials about. Whoa, I didn't know that. A clone? If true, he suggested that that detail could indicate intelligence level involvement or surveillance surrounding Oswald long before November 22, 1963. Oswald, however, consistently denied shooting anyone and claimed he was innocent, famously stating, "I didn't kill anybody, and I'm just a patsy." The psychiatrist also explored the case of Charles Manson, the cult leader responsible for the brutal Tate LaBianca murders in 1969, suggesting his rapid transformation from petty criminal to manipulative cult figure remains difficult to explain. Ross said Manson frequently visited the Haight-Ashbury Free Medical Clinic in San Francisco during the late 1960s, a facility that treated large numbers of young people experimenting with drugs. What makes that location significant, Rose noted, is that psychiatrist Dr. Louis Jolyon West, a figure linked to CIA-funded research, worked at the clinic during that period. Wow! West later became one of the most controversial psychiatrists connected to government-funded behavioral research, and his work has been repeatedly cited in discussions surrounding MKUltra era experimentation. Ross also described Manson's sudden rise to influence as striking. Like new influencers in social media every month now in 2026. You have this transformation of this guy from this petty criminal to this cult leader. It's just this day and night sort of thing, Ross said. While he stopped short of claiming direct involvement, Ross suggested the overlap between Manson and intelligence-linked figures remains an area of ongoing speculation among researchers. Ross believes the destruction of many MKUltra records in the 1970s ensured that the full extent of the program may never be known. I didn't know that. Destruction? Leaving historians and investigators with only fragments of what he described as one of the most secretive operations in US intelligence history. Is that all? That is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being here. See you the next one. Coming soon, a non-live video about self-hypnosis you might gonna like and find useful. So, see you the next one. Goodbye. Have a good one.